Hello, my name is Dr. Leslie Scollins, and I'm the Assistant Superintendent of the Cohasset Public Schools. I am here to present to you the Student Opportunity Act plan that we have created for the 24-27 school years. This presentation was created by myself, Barbara Sawanka, the Director of Student Services, and Rock Roberts, the Director of Data Evaluation and Curriculum. We are presenting this plan to you because we want to share with our stakeholders, and you have a child who is in the targeted subgroup, and those would be students with disabilities. And so we are actually wanting to get your feedback about our plan. And there's an opportunity at the end of this presentation for you to give us some information in a survey. The Student Opportunity Act, or the SOA, was enacted in the state of Massachusetts in 2019, and the purpose was to help reduce the gap or the achievement gap for our students that are in specific subgroups. And it was our job to target those groups based on our data that we have from our MCAS and other areas to look at those student achievements. They also asked that we use evidence-based practices to help reduce that achievement gap and to create ambitious 3-year targets for those groups. Our current SOA targeted students with special needs, and we looked at our ELA MCAS scores and the growth, and we noticed that we had lower scores for our students who had been determined to have special needs. And so we decided to continue to look at our students with specific learning disabilities in the upper grades and their MCAS scores to determine if what we were doing in our SOA was making progress. The state gives you categories to consider when you are determining what you are going to use as your evidence-based program. And so based on the fact that our ELA scores were lower, we decided that we needed to focus on early literacy. So we chose research-based early literacy programs in pre-kindergarten and early elementary grades. We did our work at the Joseph Osgood Elementary School, as that is where our youngest students are. And we also focused on our multi-tiered systems of support, MTSS, to look at our targeted instruction and our foundational reading skills, looked at specific interventions on targeted skills based on need, and then how we were going to progress monitor that. Our progress that we've made in our current SOA is that we've improved our data systems to inform our teaching and learning. We have unified the MTSS process across the whole district in order to make sure that it is more streamlined and that we are all using the same forms, etc. We have provided professional development on literacy instruction and intervention practices. We have implemented evidence-based literacy tools and assessment tools. And we've added additional staffing. We have added a 0.5 reading specialist at each elementary school. At the same time, we did add math specialists, and that will help support our proposal for our next SOA plan. We also have added a full-time special education reading teacher at the Deer Hill Elementary School, and we have added full-time interventionists in both reading and math at the middle school. And again, although it didn't really fall into the SOA, it was part of how we expanded our support systems, and that will impact our SOA for the 2024-2027 school years. And then we have training for general education and special education teachers designed to enhance instructional practices in a push-in model. And for those that don't know, a push-in model is when the special education teacher actually goes into the general education class rather than taking a child out of the classroom. And the glows and grows for our current SOA is that we have reduced the performance gap between our students and students with disabilities in grades 3 through 5. We have implemented practices designed to better meet the needs of individual students. Our percentage of all students meeting and exceeding expectations improves every year in both ELA and math, but we do notice that there are still gaps in ELA math for grades 3 through 8 for our students with disabilities. Our proposed SOA is really looking at reducing the reading and math achievement gap for students with disabilities. And this has been a focus for us, in particular in reading achievement in the past few years, and really looking at our early childhood. But we've also been focused on ensuring that all our students have what they need to succeed based on what they need. And although we have great gains, there are still large gaps between our students in general education and our students with special needs when it comes to analyzing data in both ELA and math. DESE gives you about 10 categories to look at when you are considering your SOA plan. And within that, they have 3 strategic objectives that you can choose from. And within that, there are some focus areas and then evidence-based programming that you would like you to consider. And some have higher focus for the Department of Ed. And so we looked at all of those to decide which would best suit our students' needs. So we chose to do strategic objective number 2, which is to promote deeper learning so that all students engage in grade level work that is real world, relevant, and interactive. And the focus area, we actually have a couple. The first one is select and skillfully implement high quality and engaging instructional materials that support culturally and linguistically sustaining practices and foster deeper learning. And the evidence-based programming is comprehensive approach to early literacy, which is a continuation of our work in our current plan, and that's to develop and implement a comprehensive approach to early literacy education that is supported by high quality literacy core curriculum materials that encompass foundational skills. And the next focus area, again, another continuation because we worked on MTSS in our current plan, is to use the MTSS process to implement academic supports and interventions that provide all students, particularly students with disabilities and multilingual learners, equitable access to the deeper learning. And then those in evidence-based programming, high leverage practices for students with disabilities. So train all staff in high leverage instructional practices designed for students with disabilities. This could include providing scaffolding supports, explicit instruction, flexible grouping, adapting curriculum and tasks based on students' specific learning goals, and also collaborative teaching models. Develop or expand co-teaching and other evidence-based models that leverage collaboration to best serve students with disabilities and multilingual learners. So an overview of our plan is that we will look at evidence-based intervention programs in math and literacy. The schools involved will be the Osgood and Deer Hill Elementary Schools, as well as the middle school. We will refine our systems using data to inform teaching and learning. MTSS will continue to improve it upon the process with the district and the building-based data teams. Expand co-teaching into grades 3 through 5. We will create data dialogue protocols that will be used across the district at the building level and at the department and grade level team levels. And then we will conduct an assessment audit. And ways that we will monitor the success of our SOA. We will look at the Department of Ed outcome metrics, which are our MTEST, and we will look at our student achievement in both ELA and math, and we'll also look at our student growth. And we'll look at that mean student growth percentile, or SGP. The state also allows you to use your own metrics to look at your outcomes. And so we use DIBELS, the 8th edition in K through 5, and that is a reading assessment, and it's also our dyslexia screener. We also have the iReady diagnostic in math and reading K through 8. We have the iReady MyPath personalized learning K through 5, which is a program that allows students to work at their own level, at their own pace to master skills, and that gives us some data to look at our students and how they're doing. We also have a companion to that, the IXL personalized learning in grades 6 through 8 in both math and reading. And then we also have the Forefront data tool this year, and that's in math, and it's designed to look at our Bridges program. And so we are able to see which standards students are meeting and which ones they still need to work on. And so that is K through 5. So we have a literacy and math intervention K through 8 plan, and these are what will happen over the course of the next 3 years. We will explore, pilot, implement Tier 1 and Tier 2 intervention programs. We'll investigate intensive Tier 3 math intervention programs. We will provide more professional development for all staff on interventions. We will provide coaching for math specialists, reading specialists, and special education teachers. We will conduct an assessment audit, which will allow us to determine if we need to add, revise, or eliminate some of the assessments that we have in order to make sure we're getting the best picture of what our students' needs are. And then we will continue to develop data teams and data dialogue protocols in our MTSS process, which will help us be able to drive our instruction. And part of the SOA is that we share this out. And so we will be sharing it with the school committee on March 27th. And we are sharing it with you, the CPAC members, right now in the month of March also. And we really want information about what you think about the survey. Excuse me, about this presentation. So there is a survey for you if you would choose to fill that out. We would much appreciate it. And then once it's approved, we will share the plan with the school councils at all the schools and the PSOs. And that will happen in April and May. In addition to engage our stakeholders throughout our next 3-year process, we will have a yearly survey to assess our plan. We'll send it to our targeted families, which is this group here that I'm speaking to right now, our teachers, administrators, and we'll also reconvene our instructional leadership team for literacy to look at learning walk look-fors in elementary literacy, as well as create instructional leadership team in math, K-8, to do our look-fors. And this is a different kind of data. It is our way of looking at what are the practices that are happening in the classrooms and allow us to look at trends and patterns and determine what things we need to grow more and other opportunities that we could enhance what we're doing. So our next step is that we will take this to the school committee for a vote on the 27th. Once that is done, we will then share the final plan with CPAC, the elementary school councils, and the PSOs, and then we will submit our plan to DESE by April 1st of this year. They'll review it and approve it. And so then if they want us to make any changes, they'll let us know, and then they will publish that on their website. So that is the end of the presentation, but we would really appreciate your feedback around our Student Opportunity Act proposal. And we have a very brief survey. It is linked into the slides that are linked in the email, and it will be available until this Friday at 4 p.m. And we do truly appreciate your feedback, and any information you give us, we will consider as we look at our plan. Thank you very much for your time.